got a bit of a monster of a Swiss Army knife here. This is the Victorinox Swisschamp XLT. This thing is kind of ridiculous, although I think it is more leaning towards the collector's market. I don't think this really is a practical Swiss Army knife, just due to the size. These, straight from Victorinox, are supposed to run at about £210. Amazon UK usually has them at around 200. I got this thing for 115, but even then, even at that massive discount, I don't think it's really worth it. Now, the standard Swisschamp can cost anything from £50 to £70, depending on when you buy them and where you buy them from. But I would say if you get them around 60 quid, you're doing not bad. I mean, that's £140 difference anyway, between the standard Swisschamp, which we have right here. This is Victorinox's flagship model. I mean, £140, let's say, price difference, I don't think is good value for your money at all, because the Swisschamp XLT only adds a few extra tools. Now, the back layer tools is the exact same as on the standard Swisschamp. Now, what extra tools does this thing add? Well, we've got this here electrician's blade. We've got what Victorinox calls a pharmaceutical spatula. Most people just call it the Coke spoon. Honestly, I don't have a clue what that's for. We've got the screwdriver, which has exchangeable bits, which is supplied to you from Victorinox, which is held right here in this black piece here. We've got about 3 or 4 different bits in there, and most of them are double-sided. One of them is not double-sided, meaning you only get one screwdriver on it. And this hawkbill pruning blade, and honestly, that's it. That's the only difference you get on this. So I don't think it really is worth the extra money. Of course, it is Victorinox's usual quality. It is an excellent, a well-made product. Let's just have a look at the size here. I mean, this thing is so much larger than the standard Swisschamp. And believe it or not, there's a few sizes up as well. There's also a Victorinox Swisschamp XLT, which I had a look at that before I made this video, and the only 2 tools on top of this that I could actually see on that model was that strange wrench thing that Wenger used to make, and a serrated main blade, as well as your standard main blade. Now, that one does have the computer on, a little clock thermometer thingamajig. I don't even know what that does. But that model costs £450 for that Swiss Army knife. It does say on Victorinox that it is one of their larger collector's pieces. So it sounds to me like that is who they designed that model for, is the collectors. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not that much of a serious collector to pay that much money. I mean, I do have a nice rounded collection of Swiss Army knives, and I do consider myself a bit of a Swiss Army knife collector, but £410 for something that's not that much bigger than this, which in of itself isn't that much bigger than this, I don't think you're really getting good value for your money. When you can consider you can get the, what is it, the Victorinox Traveller, I think that's the one. Is that the one? I'm not sure. Which also has that clock, which is, it's basically just a Huntsman with a clock, or you can get essentially a Swisschamp with a clock. I mean, I think they're a bit overpriced and things. Don't get me wrong, they're really well made. They're lovely to look at. They're great to handle, and they're a lot of fun to play around with. But I mean, this thing is so big. I mean, it fills up my hand entirely, and not in a good way. I mean, it's like I'm holding a small brick. And I mean, I don't really want to have something like this in my pocket all day anyway. I mean, the Swisschamp, most people think the Swischamp's too big to carry. Hell, most people don't like to carry a Swiss Army knife that's over 2 layers. Never mind a monster like this, or the XLT. I'm just going to quickly just get the Huntsman, because that is a very common Swiss Army knife also, just for comparison. So we can see the difference in these things. The Huntsman being a 4 layer, I think. I mean, the XLT is just going to eat the Huntsman for breakfast. Now, what did we get on this thing? The XLT. It's basically the exact same tool set as the Swisschamp, except the XLT adds those tools I mentioned earlier. The two knives, the screwdriver and the strange Coke spoon thingy that no one seems to know what it's for and has a use for. But for those people who haven't seen these before, I'm just going to run down the tools that's on the Swisschamp, because like I said, it's the exact same tool set on this, except this has a little bit more. So what do we get on the standard Swisschamp? Well, we've got the can opener with the screwdriver, the bottle opener with the screwdriver and the wire bender, Phillips driver, manifin glass, pliers, scissors, the fish scaler with the ruler, if I can get it up, wood and plastic saw, a file which also doubles as a hacksaw, main blade, and the small pen blade. Now all of these tools that I've just went over here on the standard Swisschamp, the XLT also has. And of course we've got the scale tools, the toothpick, I think this is the pen here, yep, the pen, ballpoint pen, and the tweezers. And on the back we've got the corkscrew, which also houses the eyeglass screwdriver, a small chisel, another flat driver, partial hook, and one of my favourite tools, an awl. Now the Swisschamp is supposed to have a straight pin in this little hole here, but I lost mine. So the XLT has the exact same tools with the addition of the sheep's foot blade, the Coke spoon, the changeable screwdriver and the pruning blade. So like I said, we're looking at £140 difference there, give or take, unless you're lucky and you get it on sale. So I don't think you're really getting value for money. So unless you really are desperate to buy this thing, or you get an absolute bargain on it, I would just suggest just forgetting about it. Just don't buying it. Either that, or if you're lucky enough to find it second hand, do that way. I mean, £210, I think you could spend your money a bit better. I mean, you can get a Leatherman Charge TTI for that. For £210, I think I'd rather buy a Leatherman Charge, honestly. I mean, at least you've got full-size functioning pliers. Or hell, come to think of it, you could buy two whole Victorinox Swiss tools for that, and the Swiss tool is way more capable than a Swiss Army knife like this. Now, I'm not crapping all over this thing. I really do like it a lot. I think the price point is just set, maybe just a little bit too high. Just a bit. Come on, that's a bit ridiculous. Victorinox, 210. Now, I do think Victorinox does usually the product is good value for the money. This is a no-go though. Would I buy this thing again? No, not at that price, no. Not that I now know what I now know, I definitely wouldn't. This is obviously going to stay in the collection. I'm going to keep it. It's a good display piece for sure. £210 though, too expensive. Well, that's my thoughts on the Victorinox Swisschamp XLT. What's your thoughts? What do you think of this absolute monster? Do you have one? Did you have one? Do you want one? Are you going to pay £210 for it? If you've got one, what do you think of it? I'd like to know what you think. I'll see you later.